Hello everyone. Today we're gonna right now I'm doing the 15-page paper for becoming a master view of art. I just had it. Just like that. Yeah, and I wanted to leave some notes on it about the. So this one is going to be about master view of art, the 15-page paper. I want to help. I want to help those who have decided to do the paper. Okay. I know I always do this by not looking this thing. I don't really look in the mirror that much. But I wanted to help with this paper. And I want it to be a different kind of paper. It's not like a paper like you've done before. You know, not like ones not so much like the ones like you do in college or something like that, okay? First of all, you have a year to do it. It's in your second year. I waited the whole year. I didn't do the paper at all, but I thought about it. And now that it's coming time, which one of the rules I just made is that you cannot go to your second viewing. I don't even know if it's possible, but I can't even think about my second viewing until this paper's done, 15-page paper. And in the last video, I explained about it. Okay. Um, I gotta remember the mark. I'm not the marking. I gotta remember the weaning. That's the term I want to bring up. But this paper is really different because, like, when you do the paper, mm, I already explained how the paper is supposed to be done. But I'm doing mines. I'm doing mines right now. The thing about my lessons that I teach is I go through the same thing that you go through. First of all, Dance Without Music, the other program, is not something that I mean, I came up with it, but it's not something that I was doing. But I grew with it. I mean, it's just that I know how to do things that, how can I explain it? I know what it takes, and I know what it takes to do something. I mean, like, whatever you tell me that has to be done, I can pretty much figure out what you need for a certain thing to be done. Okay, but the trick is that it takes longer than like the way our mind is set. It's like, oh, it's got to be done in a year. Oh, it's got to be done in 2 years. Oh, it's got to be done in 6 months. But anyway, we already went through all of that. So now I got the paper. So I want to give you some pointers on this paper. I said that you can pretty much make the title the way you want to, but the thing about it is the title is supposed to be about everything that you physically did. It's not like what you I wrote it down. I'll show it to you. I'm almost sure. Anyway, like I said, I can't review too much all the time because you can just look at the former videos, you know. And this one is supposed to be this is my title. What I did the first viewing. And remember, it's not called this. Actually, it's the first viewing. The first viewing is making the mark, as we stated, and as I came up with that term. So the mark is, when you made your mark is when you started the program and decided you wanted to do it. You went down to the museum. You got the map like this, and you figured out when you were going to do the viewing, and you did the viewing. Okay, so that's called the mark. I'm so happy we came up with that term instead of me explaining to you. Okay, so now and then the first year, like we had the problem or whatever, we already know. So we're in the second year. If you want to know everything that happened, it's in the former videos. If you want to know how to start out this program, you start from the beginning. You probably have to backtrack because the other videos tells you about how the first video is when I started the program. It doesn't say becoming a master viewer of art. It says something like that. But if you want the title, you just backtrack to through the other videos on this subject. Oh, I can't keep doing that. But anyway, so we made the mark. The mark is very important. Like I said, mark contains the information that we took the first viewing. So like I said, I'm writing this paper. It says what I did the first viewing. Now, what I put down is I put down as a title what I did as my first viewing, and I told you before that it has to. It's very dry, but when the thing about it is don't worry about that. It is kind of technical. It's kind of gets you have to get used to it. Some people, but the second one deals with you want to let your beautiful writing and creative writing flow. Wait till the next topic, because the next topic is what I felt while doing what I did. Okay, very simple, very rudimentary. Just keep it like that. Then you can go back, or you can look at the map and refresh your memory about the things you did, and you can go in and explain. But this first one is kind of trying because you have to be very, I guess, can I say perfunctory? You can't really put too much in it, just what you did. Now, these are some things that I came up with, some things that this lesson is about, and it's going to bring out, bring out in you some things that are going to bring out things or things that you're going to come how can I say things that because it's not done, so I'm trying to say something that doesn't happen. um, these are going to be the things that I can't really explain it, but I'm gonna try to. I gotta come up with some nice words, a nice explanation, because I'm trying to tell you some of the things that I it never happened before. I mean, I know I did it internally, but it's kind of hard for me to explain it. But when I get the chance to explain it, maybe you can pick up on it because I'm going to tell it to you right now. Okay, so I did this simple topic. I did the simple first part. And then I said, okay, so it's like this. I went to the National Gallery of Art and got a map. That's a paragraph. Okay. I went home and looked at the entire map. That's a paragraph. um, I started to choose the art that I wanted to view. That's a paragraph. Now, already, I don't know, we're going to have to come up with a term for this or whatever. What I'm trying to say is right now, I can sense an ability that this program is trying to bring out of you, because like what I just told you is things that you, and there's another beautiful thing too, but we have to keep on with this point. Sometimes I get 2 points I want to say at once. So okay, so but this first thing is trying to draw out of you is seeing just what you're seeing without adding anything else to it. So if it was like a painting, you would look at a painting, and I don't like to do this, but I'm doing this for some people who need to bring up their interest a little bit. Um, so because this is a 12-year program, but anyway, so what I'm saying is like, say if you look at a painting, okay, I want you to be able to just look at it, okay, just look at it for what it is, not adding anything, almost like not liking it. But I'm not saying, you know how you do, yeah. It's something like when you don't like a painting and you just look at it, okay? And I did that in one of my, I told you about the Lavender Mist. I looked at it, not that I didn't like it, okay? But I didn't know what it was, you know what I mean? And this is before any art experience I had at all, okay? So I'm looking at this painting, and so this is kind of what this thing is bringing out of you. So I'm saying it's like your mindset. It's not exactly, when I say like, it doesn't mean exactly the same thing. So your mindset is kind of strengthening the ability to be able to look at things without any, just what you see, just what your eye sees, no information whatsoever. So those are some of, I guess I can do that. I don't like to do that. I don't like to explain to you to get your interest because I want you to have an interest in it anyway. But I don't know if I don't know why I don't like to do that. I just like people to believe in things. But it's like algebra, okay? I love algebra. I mean, I took the course. I mean, it was hard for me to understand it. I took the course maybe 20 times in college, 20 times, and I didn't pass it. And I had one professor who helped me out so much, but I still, all the help I got, but I would go over everything. I was looking for the answer everywhere. Everywhere I looked in the algebra. And it was like looking at a painting that I didn't even understand. That's what I'm saying it was like. I looked everywhere to find. And do you know? Okay, to make a long story short, by the time I got out of college, I was like, I said I want to go back to this painting. I mean, I want to go back to algebra. After a year of graduating from college, and I just graduated in 2013. It took me a long time to go back to school. So anyway, I go like this. I go. I was in Houston, Texas, and I said I want to take algebra again because I do this and I do that. I do a lot of projects on my own, and I took that course, the fundamentals course, and I got an A, and another A, and another. I never had a chance. I never got an A in an algebra class in my whole life, and all of a sudden, I must be going in the right direction because I started getting A's, and I was like, and I was working full time too, and uh, I was like, are they joking me? You know what I mean? I mean, is this a joke? And then the professor would say, okay, the A students, and he was talking about me. And I was like, is this true? Am I here? I mean, is this actually me getting these A's? So anyway, so he said the A students always do their homework. They always do. And I was like, how is this happening to me? Am I actually getting A's in algebra? You know what I mean? So then after that, there was this older guy in the class, and I was the older one too. Me and him was the old ones. But in algebra, in mathematics, it started. I don't know if you're not used to it, your brain starts flipping and doing flips and going, what in the world is happening? You know what I mean? So it was happening to him, but the only thing about it is I went through it and I was studying algebra. I rode that horse and I stayed on the horse. You know what I mean? So the professor started going to the deep stuff. Going to the because we were going into the next class. So he had to get up on it and he started doing some more difficult. And the guy, he was going like, "What in the world are you doing?" So it got a lot of people out. A lot of people were like leaving out the class, but I kept up. But I knew I was getting A's, and I was like, "Is this possible?" I mean, and then at the end of the class, I never got less than A. Sometimes I get more than an A because he would ask extra credit, and I would do the extra credit too. And I was keep getting A's, and I kept saying to myself, "Is this possible?" I mean, but anyway, I got a. Then we took the exam, and I got an A on the exam. And then I took the next intermediate course. I don't know, it was the next one before you go into college algebra. This is a long story, but I'm telling you. So then I took that course, and I got an A. I started getting A's again. And then I just kept getting A's. And then I had these people come up to me, okay, these young people come up to me, and it was like, she said, "What did you get on this?" I got an A. She goes, "Why is this way, and why is this way?" And I answered her question. And I was saying in my head, is this me? Am I the person who getting all these A's and I couldn't even hardly get a C in algebra? So I am going in the right direction. And there's one more thing. at the end, I think, okay, I did that. There's one more thing about the story I wanted to finish. So I was getting all A's. I got A in every test I took from those 2 semesters. But there was one point I wanted to tie in together. I told you that the girl, one of the classmates in school, she was asking me, like, how do you do this or how do you do that, and I just answered them. Oh yeah, there was this another. I was studying one time. This is not funny, but it's funny. To me, it's not funny. It's funny in a different way. So I was in algebra. I was in a lab, and this girl came up to me. She was a young girl, and she goes, "How do you do this algebra?" She goes, I took this class 8 times, and the only thing I could tell her was, you have to keep going. You know what I mean? And I said, I mean, I would have helped her even more, but I kept saying to myself, is this me? Is this person asking me? I mean, the one who has taken algebra 21 times? Okay, but anyway, so that's what I'm trying to tell you. If you believe in something, I mean, I don't want to explain to you why this class is good. I mean, I explained to you one thing, like I said, I went to the National Gallery of Art and I got a map. Okay, that's a paragraph. I went home and looked at the entire map. That's another paragraph. I started to choose the art that I wanted to view. That's another paragraph. Now I was telling you why this is good. But what I'm trying to say is, I don't want to continually, while we're doing this course, say why certain things are like this, why certain things are like this. I want you to believe. I mean, sometimes I might say this is good for this or this is good for that because I do it in Dance Without Music. But I want to keep your attention, to keep your attention. You have to believe in yourself because one thing I learned from Dance Without Music, if I'm not talking to you, I'm definitely talking your how can I say? Your subconscious mind will definitely is keeping you tuned. If your subconscious mind, and subconscious mind is like your, it's like, I don't know, but it's true. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know why this is true, but it's true. So that's like your subconscious mind. Okay, you don't know why, but it's true. It's like you're in 2 different places because you're not in tuned with your subconscious mind. So now we're gonna do that. And I'm gonna keep doing that every so often, but I'm just joking. But I'm just saying I don't want to keep, get your interest. You have to find your interest, and you have to know that this thing is right. Okay. So we're in the second year. Supposedly we have 10 more years, but I think I'm gonna extend it 2 more years because it's really going well. So the next paragraph, so if you understand what I'm doing right there, like I said, it's like a painting that you want to just void yourself of all of everything. Void yourself of all interest and just look for the painting for what it's at. And then after that, like I told you before, I said I chose 1 through 13. On this, I want you to put down the entire um, explanation. Like for instance, if it's right here, okay, and you went to this studio, I want you to write these things out. Like, let me see, get my which column. Okay. Like if you have these things, I want you. I don't know how well you can see it, but I want you to write these things out, the entirety. Okay, you can't see it because it's backwards, I guess, unless you can read backwards. But I want you to write the entire thing out. I visited the studio, and you got to write this and then this perfectly. And another thing right there, what I'm going to tell you, I'm going to stress is that you have to pay attention to what you're writing. You have to type it. Please don't write it. Um, but it's just you have to type it. Okay. So you're typing it, and um, yes, type it. Learn typing. If you don't know typing, take your time, practice typing, and then because it's gonna be typed. I mean, if you're still doing handwriting, I mean, you know, it's all right. I like handwriting too, but we have to be typed. So we gotta finish this video. So anyway, like, okay, so you have to write those things out as a paragraph, okay? And what I'm saying is to not get overwhelmed. One thing that I learned that'll help you not get overwhelmed is do things, pay attention to everything you're doing, okay? You looked at the map, then you see the map. When you're typing, pay attention to your typing. It'll help you, you won't get overwhelmed. Remember that for the future. So far what I see is getting overwhelmed is when we're not paying attention what we are actually doing, you know. We're in this new space, you know, like somebody gives you says, I love you so much and here's something for you. I would pass out. But um you go to that beautiful place and you forget about where you are, so it overwhelms you. So that's why I said when you type, I want you to take your time and type. And the thing about it is going to be a little bit difficult because you're going to be saying the same thing. So I said I chose 1 through 13. I told you have to write the whole thing out. 13th to 16th century Italian paintings and sculptures. Okay, that's a paragraph. Each one. I chose 17 and then I chose, and I kept saying, I chose, I told you you have to do that. I chose, I chose, and then you say with that, okay? Because that's very important to do that, okay? And if you stop and take your time, relax, you can do it. But another thing too, you have a whole year to do it. I don't want you to, if you get tired writing 3, leave it alone and then come back. Because it's I chose, I chose, I chose. If you can't do it more than 3 times, then just let it go and then come back. You have a whole year. And that's going to lead me to my next weaning, what I'm going to tell you. Take your time and do the paper. Look at, I haven't done it in 1 year. So then the next one. So then I got another paragraph. Okay. I went back. Okay, so at the end, okay. I went back to my viewing. Okay, let me see. I did something. I don't see what happened here. There's something that happened. Something happened. Oh, something went out of this paper. I went back to my viewing. It was supposed to say, um, it was supposed to say that I don't know. I did there's some kind of mistake because I said I took a break. Let me see. It says 80. I gotta finish this video now. It says 80, 19th century. I'm just trying to find this mistake I had. I chose 53. It's just some kind of mistake I made. I can't look at it now because I'm doing this video. It has 53 and then it has 80. I'm still here. It's just I made a mistake somewhere. 56. Let me see if I can find it real quick. I don't wanna bug you all. Okay, here it goes. 80 to 93. Okay, 80 to 93. Oh no, that's not it. Okay, what did I do? I chose. Okay, that's what I chose. I'm sorry. Now I understand. What I did in the beginning was I told you about. This is about what I chose. I don't know. Maybe you caught it before I did. So the first paragraph. Okay, I did the paragraphs. Okay, and then I had a break in the paragraph. So I guess that would be like not a topic, but it would be considered a chapter. Like okay, something like a chapter, but it's a paper because I got all of these are paragraphs of when I chose before I went to my mark. This is part of my mark. This is the mark where I'm at home and I'm deciding which paintings I want to view. So that's still making the mark. Then I go to the viewing part. okay? Then I go to actually view what I just charted, okay? So it's like, I made a space. I mean, I had the paragraphs. I did this. I looked at this one. I put all these things down, okay, the ones that I was interested in. Then I double space, okay, and made a, so that would be something like a chapter or something. I'm not really sure. It's not a different topic, but it's telling the person that it's going to be a big change here. I'm actually at the viewing now, okay? So I'm viewing my first thing, and this I went back. I went back to do my viewing. Okay, and I spelled something wrong because I said I went back, but I went back. I don't know if I'm gonna have you here. I'm not gonna make the change yet. Well, I'm gonna make the change while I'm online, just to show you that you take your time. I mean, you know what I mean. I went. Okay, I went, and I went. Okay, I went. Okay, so I went down. To. I went back to do the viewing. Maybe I can change this here, but this is all right. I'm gonna move this here. Okay, I went to Seventh Street entrance. That's all. These are all paragraphs. Okay, I got my backpack checked. Okay, I went straight. This is a paragraph. I went straight through the first floor and that I entered and could not find my starting point. You see how basic it is, okay? And that's what you need because you're developing now what you see. Like when we're walking and we don't see anything, okay? But now we're being able to, like, the things that we're thinking about is where things that we're thinking about. We're like doing two things at once and we're actually viewing, okay? So this is very good. I want you, this is very important. I hope that you really spend time on this part, okay? You notice that I don't put any explanations or anything. Let's see, I got my backpack checked. I went straight through the floor that I entered and could not find my starting point, okay? So I went back to where I started from and went upstairs and I saw the rotunda. Then I found my starting point and I started to view my paintings. Paragraph. I viewed Studio 1, paragraph. I viewed Studio 2, paragraph. I viewed Studio 3, paragraph. I viewed Studio 4, paragraph. Um, at around, okay, after Studio 4, I said I just got another mistake here. Okay. Now, at around this time, so I got Studio 4 here, and then I made another paragraph, and I noted something. I said, at around this time, it's just something that happened. It doesn't have any emotion or anything. I'm not trying to kill your emotions. The emotions are going to come in the next topic, okay? I just want you to have something to talk about. And there's another, I want to take this other point that's so important here. It's a beautiful point. I wanted to, but I think it's good to say it right here. You actually made something. I mean, you took a time that you went to the museum, and 2 years later, you still remember it. It's still a treasure for you. Can you imagine that? How many times have you been to a museum and and do these detailed things? And this is what we're building on. Just a special time that we had. Um, at around this time, I started to feel a little overwhelmed or disoriented. Okay, so I was feeling a little bit overwhelmed or disoriented around this time, okay? And now we understand because I was probably viewing my paintings, scanning my paintings, and I stopped realizing that I was like I had to walk, I had to like, do mundane things, and I was just so caught up in what I was doing, and I was getting overwhelmed and disoriented. That's probably that is one of the reasons. Okay, just and I wasn't, I could have just continued to enjoy it. That's the number one thing. You should enjoy it, or just orient, and then notice the rooms had numbers as to enter, I mean, as to enter. How I put this wrong? Numbers as to enter and exit the city. As to okay, it's got I just this grammar wrong, right? But I was saying that I noticed after I was disoriented that the rooms had numbers as you entered and exited as you entered and exited the studios. Okay, I'm putting you as you entered and exited exit, I guess that's right. The studios. Okay, so anyway, so then I noticed that and I felt better, probably because I started being more of aware of where I was. So another thing, so that's one thing I learned from doing this paper, is that I viewed this, but being disoriented or being overwhelmed with something that happened also. That's not something emotional or anything. It happened. Just like I walked through the room and somebody was in my way. Okay, so that's something that happened to myself. Okay. And then I've viewed Studio 5, I've viewed Studio 6, I've viewed Studio 7, I've viewed Studio 8, all these paragraphs. I've viewed Studio 9, I've viewed Studio 10, and then I've viewed Studio 11 and noticed that there was a garden leading out to the studio. Leading out of the studio. I tried to locate where I was or get my bearings but couldn't, so I felt a little confused and then shrugged it off and continued. So I'm saying that's something that happened internally to myself. I was looking at the paintings, going through the room, and then one room it had a garden. I was trying to like, where's this garden and where am I at now in the building? So that's something that happened to me. It wasn't emotional. A lot of people think that confusion is emotional. So now, not don't say in all instances, but in general, a lot of times we think that confusion is something emotional, but now we can see clearly that it's something that happens. That's something that happens to us. Okay, it's like stubbing a toe. Okay, just like my being overwhelmed and disoriented. So that's another mental point that we're learning from just doing this part of paper. So next time you confuse, a lot of times, sometimes when we get confused, we get nervous. So now we know we can get confused and know that it's just something causing the confusion. And we don't have to get nervous. You can say, what is causing my confusion? Okay? Disoriented. When I was disoriented, now I know that it's just disoriented, something that happened. It's not something that it's not an emotion, or it's not something that it's just something that's happening. So something that's making me disoriented. So I can find what's happening. I don't have to get nervous. I don't have to get a panic attack. Okay? So that's 2 points that when I was doing this paper, I was realizing, oh, things can happen to me without being just normal. It's just normal, and I just have to find what's the matter. It's not anything that I can have to get afraid about or anything like that. Okay, I'm gonna stop right there. Okay, and then we're gonna come back, and I'm gonna help with more. I'm doing the paper just like you're doing the paper, and I'll help you do the paper more. Okay, becoming a master viewer of art. Congratulations, we got it this far. Thank you.